Hi guys, it's Emily. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am here to share with you my design team project for July for Deb at Artzology. I am so excited about this journal, guys. But before we get into that, let me show you the kits that I used. And I will link all of this below as well. But here is the name of Deb's shop on Etsy. It's Artzology. And I used the Assemblage junk journal kit and the internal use envelope. It's considered a template. It's under the templates in her shop, but I will show that to you when we get there. So yeah, that's what I used. And let's see, let's measure this because I did not do that ahead of time. There are 3 signatures. It is approximately 6 inches by 9 1/4. And it has, well, let's see, because this book was already, I didn't alter the book. I just, yeah, it's about a 2-inch, a little over 2-inch spine. I just used a book that I had. It was not, excuse me, not a vintage book or anything, but I wanted to, my goal with this journal was to keep it a bit more simple, a bit more, I'm not going to say masculine because it's, you know, but a little more on the masculine side, in case, you know, a gentleman would like a journal of his own. But it's still very much, you know, unisex, I guess we could call it. But my goal was to keep it more simple for writing. And I also just wanted to challenge myself to fit everything into a, you know, a book and then not need a closure. And guys, I did it. I'm so excited. I don't need a closure. And this thing doesn't alligator mouth that bad. Like, I mean, it sits fairly flat. I am so excited. I've never done this before. So basically what I did is I took a book, I painted the whole cover because it was like a navy blue, and so I painted it kind of this, you know, neutrally color. And then I decoupaged all the bits and bobs onto the front to make a collage, and onto the back. We'll get to that in a second. And then I added these little metal corners. They don't go around the corners, they just sit on the top. And then I added an envelope here that actually is functional. So it has a couple pieces in it. This is a journaling card or an ATC card from Deb's kit. And then this is just a piece of Tim Holtz ephemera. That was another one of my goals with this, was to use up a bunch of my Tim Holtz ephemera pieces because I've had them for a long time and I neglect to use them, and they went beautifully with this kit. I also added just this little metal, it was a button that had like the piece on the back, and I cut that off so that it was flat. I can't remember the name of the thing that's on the back, I'm sorry. And then this is actually a brad that I just stuck through, well, it's through the whole envelope because I backed this envelope with a piece of just cardstock. So you're not really putting things into the envelope, you're putting things behind the envelope, if that makes sense. I wanted it to be sturdier because it was on the front. So anyway, there's a brad here, but I covered the legs of the brad so that it, you know, wouldn't hinder putting things in and taking things out of the envelope. And then I used some actual vintage Scrabble tiles to spell the word vintage down the side here. And I love how that turned out. I did ink these up a little bit with some archival potting soil, I believe is what I used. And then on the spine, you may have seen before, I actually hand stitched down both sides here. So that was new for me too. I had never done that before. And I do not claim to be a wonderful hand stitcher. I'm not. It's very much not perfect, but I kind of was going for that. I wouldn't have wanted it to be perfect. If I wanted it to be perfect, I would have run it under the sewing machine, right? So that's what I did there. And then here's the back. Again, I just collaged that up. Most of this is Tim Holtz. I think this was actually, this big piece back here was actually a sticker that I had gotten, I don't even know where. But you also have some Tim Holtz washi. There was some on the front too. And then some more of those little metal corners. And I inked everything up really well and just kind of made it, you know, a bit grungy, so it looked like it had been, it looks like it has been used and loved quite heavily. Yeah, there's the washi, it's back here on this side. And then if you can see, we have a hollow spine here. So this is the actual book, and then I created this piece that I actually sewed the signatures into. So it's a hollow spine. All right, let's open it up because I think that's enough of the outside. But yeah, it doesn't need a closure, guys. I'm so excited. I'm so proud of myself. Like, okay, so here we have, this is Tim Holtz ephemera, and I just made it into a tuck spot. And we have an altered, well, let's see. It was a time card that I purchased from my dear friend Dee Dee from her Etsy shop. I will link that below. She had already beautifully coffee stained it for me. And then I added this here as a little tuck for one of Deb's tags, which I topped with some ledger paper. And then I stamped with, let's see, this big stamp here to make it look like someone had actually, you know, clocked in and out for the day. And I added a date here and then just a little number. Let's see if you can see that. There we go. That's better. I love how that turned out. It's very messy, and that was kind of what I was going for. So anyway, so here's the tag from the kit, and I topped all of my tags with paper as opposed to ribbon or fabric. There might be some fabric. I'm not going to make any promises. Anyway, I tried to keep everything as flat as possible. I wanted this to be a much more usable journal. Not that my other journals aren't usable, but you know, for someone who actually wants to write, I just wanted to keep it, you know, kind of, you know, whatever. All right. So on the first page of every signature is a piece of, I cut down some photo album pages that were this beautiful craft paper, and they obviously had clear pockets for photos, and I just thought it was kind of perfect to make and use as pockets. So I sewed around the edges because once I cut them down, you know, I kind of, it took away from the integrity of the pocket. So I sewed around them. And then in this one, we have the altered baseball game ticket that I did in a video. So I just slid that in the front, and it has one of the journaling cards from Deb's kit in the back, just kind of tucked in there. And so these were perfect for pockets. So it left a lot of space for writing on the actual pages. And then in the back, because there's a pocket in the front and the back, this is just a piece of Tim Holtz paper that is you know, it's a letter, so it just looked old, and I just liked that a lot. But you could still journal on the outsides if you wanted to. And that just slides in there. And then this is one of the pages from the kit, and I think I had said earlier in a video, but I'll say again, I printed these onto tea-dyed paper or coffee-dyed paper. It might have been a combination of both, and I love how they turned out. They came out so much more vintage looking, even though, I mean, they already looked vintage because Deb did an amazing job, but I just love how this turned out. So then you you know, you have the coffee dye color on the backs. And then this is a vintage Yahtzee scorecard that I added here. You can see that. And then this came from a vintage ledger book. And I like the letters here. It just kind of lent itself very well to the kit. And then this is actually some very old invoice paper from my husband's place of employment. He found a box of this. It's from 1997 and it's in German. But I thought that was really cool. And there's a lot of space to write here. And then there's space on the back as well to write. And then this is another beautiful page from the kit. And then here I just took, this is, I think this is vintage ledger paper that I inked up really well and kind of tore it up a bit just to make it look older. And I just folded it over so I didn't have to cut it. And I added this piece of Tim Holtz ephemera here as a tuck spot for this tag that comes in the kit. And I used a piece of Tim Holtz ephemera for the tab at the top. Super cute. I love that. So that can just sit there. And then the kit comes with, I believe, 8 of these file folders. So cute. And so for 3 of them, I created a little, these are Tim Holtz picture, I don't know what they're called, but they look like big playing cards, but then they have portraits on the other side. So I glued the washi on so that it'll stay. And then you just have a little flip here. So a place to write, and then these very handsome gentlemen. And that just clips onto this piece of Tim Holtz paper here. But I didn't show you the other side of that, I'm sorry. I love how that turned out. I was very excited about that. Very simple, but very cool. I like it a lot. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I really did. And then we just have some vintage graph paper, and then another beautiful image or background page from the kit. And then this came from an old bingo game. It was the like master call sheet. So I folded it in half and then folded it over so I didn't have to cut it. And you've got some, good journaling space, and it's got a great color on it. That's its color. I did not ink that up. So it's super cool. And then here I made one of those slot pockets. I watched Angelica Menzel make this. I know you can get a Tim Holtz die for it, but she did a video on how to make one yourself without having to buy the die. So I think it turned out beautifully. I backed it onto some coffee dyed cardstock just to make it a bit sturdier. This is cardstock as well, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of give it a little more. Plus I wanted to make it another tuck spot for this gorgeous guest check. These were gifted to me by my friend Lisa, and I coffee dyed that. So then you've got all these little bits that go inside. This is just a piece of coffee dyed paper that I added a couple Tim Holtz little circle embellishments to, and that goes in the back. And then this is one of the journaling cards from the kit, and that goes there. And then a little Tim Holtz library card that I backed with some graph paper and grunged up. And then more Tim Holtz, and I just inked that on the back. And then these were, I'm sorry, excuse me. These were cut out of a whole page of Tim Holtz 8x8 paper. It was just a whole bunch of rulers. And I cut them all out, and then I just tucked those in there because I thought they were cute. They look kind of neat with that theme. So they just tuck in there. And then this is also Tim Holtz, and I put a sticker on the back of that, a vintage, like, I don't know what those stamps are called, but yeah. Anyway, that's that. And then this little picture of a mom and her little boy, I think. That's Tim Holtz as well. And again, I used a sticker on the back of that just so it wasn't white. And then this is a tiny little tag that I have, and I just added an eyelet there just because. And then some Tim Holtz ephemera, and that just goes there like that. And then this is the center of the signature, and this is actually not paper from the kit. This is scrapbook paper that I had, and each of the center signatures is a page from that scrapbook paper pad, and I glued it together to make a nice sturdy middle. So I was gonna make it a pocket, but I didn't want to add that much stuff, so I ended up just gluing it together because I like how that looks sometimes. So, and I also sewed around the edges with a zigzag stitch so you can see the whole page back here. And then now we're at the other side with that master bingo board. And then this is from the kit. I love how this looks up here. Just, I mean, that's how it printed out. So cool. And some more graph paper, or the other side of the graph paper. And then these were, this was one of the hidden snag-free altered paper clips that I did, that I had gotten the idea from Maddie at Spectrum Art. And that just holds one of these beautiful journaling cards from the kit. I love that moth. I think it's a moth. Super cute. And then this is the other side of that Tim Holtz scrapbook paper, or cardstock. And then, oh, it actually holds two. Another journaling card on this side. There we go. And then this is the other side of that ledger paper. Another beautiful page from the kit. And then the other side of that German invoice, I actually stamped on it here. So this was just, you know, like a postage stamp. And then those were some Tim Holtz foam number stamps that I had. So I don't know, gave it some more interest. And then we've got the rest of that Yahtzee card and more paper from the kit. And then the back page has another file folder, and I just left this one empty so that you can write inside, and that slides in there. I just love how this, you know, worked out perfectly for pockets. It meant I didn't have to add so much stuff to the pages, you know, so I could keep it nice and functional. So I just added Tim Holtz little label at the top there. All right, and now we are on to, there we go, the second signature. Again, one of the file folders, and then this one is also empty, but lots of space for writing. Love that. And then another tag from the kit and a ticket, Tim Holtz ticket for the tab. Page from the kit. I love the floral on here. I think that is so pretty. Another Yahtzee score sheet, another page from that ledger book, another German invoice, and then here we come to the internal use envelope that I said I used. It's one of her kits. I'm stumbling over my words today, I apologize. It is under the templates section in her shop, but I will link directly to it. You get 3 colors. You get beige, pink, and blue. I used the beige one and printed it onto a dark tea-stained copy paper. And I love how it turned out because it's super crinkly because it's got the tea dye on it. And I love, you know, just the color of it and everything. So you get, I believe you get the front of it on a page, the back of it on a page, and then you get the flap. And then there are instructions to put it together. And it's super easy, guys. Yeah, you basically cut it out, glue the pieces together, and you're done. But I just love how it looks, and I love how it turned out on the tea-dyed paper. So I added it here just as a, you know, a page, and then it becomes just like a little envelope for a couple journaling cards, or you could tuck some other things in there too. Oh, and it also includes circles to punch out, but I, because I printed it onto copy paper, I just went ahead and used some craft cardstock that I have to make the circles. Yeah, I wanted them to be a bit sturdier, so I did that, and then just used some, I actually left that long so it would hang out the bottom. Used some bigger brads here as well. All right, another piece of ledger paper. This is not vintage, but it is coffee dyed. And then here we have, with a little curly Q paper clip again, another file folder that has a handsome gentleman inside. One of those Tim Holtz cards. There's the back. And this is more of that Tim Holtz 8x8 paper. All right, and then some graph paper, and then more gorgeous background paper from the kit. And then this was a piece of, oh, where did I get this from? Oh, this was in a Smash book that I have, but I loved the fact that it was, you know, yellow, like lined paper, because, where was that? There was some yellow, here, yellow lined paper from the kit. And I thought, oh, well, that'll be perfect. So I will add that in here. So it is a pocket for, but do I have more than one thing in there? Hold on. What's in there? Oh, no. Okay. I have just a file folder in there. But I just love that. It's just something a little different. So it's just a nice little pocket there and writing space. And then this is a Tim Holtz piece of ephemera, and then this was a library card from my friend Lisa that I coffee dyed, and kind of, I mean, it's very grungy. It kind of burned on the edge, but I like that. If you don't like that, you can, you know, toss that. I like that look, but this is more of that scrapbook paper, so we're at the center of the signature again. And then here's the other side, and I tore it out so that it would have the rough edge. And then there is another file folder in here. And then another page from the kit. Graph paper. And then another of the altered paper clips. And these were little Scrabble stickers. Scrabble tile stickers, but I thought that was perfect. And then this pretty lady. I don't know who she is, but she reminds me of Cleopatra. She might be Cleopatra because, you know, she's got a little snake. I don't know. Anyway, more Tim Holtz paper. I just love that image. I think that's pretty. And that is from the kit. Oops, let's put this on the correct way. These do slide on very easy, guys. Everything is a struggle when I'm filming. So more journaling cards. And that ledger paper, and then this is the back side, or the other end of the internal use envelope, and I cut the bottom off, so I ended up cutting a bit of this part that says please use reverse, but I like how that looks because, you know, it looks used. So I wanted to make it a pocket for some more journaling cards, so that's why I cut the end of that. But normally it would be a full, you know, it would be a full envelope. And then I used my new my new big kick that I got. I was so excited, so I had to cut something and add it here. So I used one of the Tim Holtz dies and put this vintage fan on this page. I love that. I'm so excited about it. And then again, I just stamped a little bit on this German invoice. And that moth again, so pretty. I love that moth. And then we have another tag here, and I just used some graph paper for the tab. And I did corner punch, you probably saw that. I corner punched the photo album pages just to give them a bit more interest. And another tag, I love this as well. This little, I I don't know what it probably was, but I love how that looks. And then I used, this was a postage stamp piece from Tim Holtz. I tell you what, that Tim Holtz ephemera is amazing. I mean, I had it like spread out all over my desk, and I used so much of it. It was a very productive clean out of some stuff, actually. So there's just another file folder. I love the file folders in Deb's kits. They're so fun. And I left these very plain, but you can do so much with them. In the past, I have done way more with them. So here's another tag, and the tags are just beautiful. I love this like just vintage collage of stuff. It just makes me happy. And this was some very crispy ledger paper, just offcuts that I used at the top of that tag. Oh, we're into the third signature now. So another background sheet or page from the kit, and pretty much the same. More of that, another page from the kit. And I think this is vintage ledger paper. And then I used a Tim Holtz railroad ticket as a tuck spot on this one with this gorgeous journaling card in there. And you can open up and write there. And then the third, another clip, that moth. I love that moth. And then this one has a beautiful lady inside. So maybe this was a gentleman's journal, and that's his lovely other half. Where in the world did that go? Oh, there we go. And then that again is just on, that's some of that Tim Holtz paper. And I love this blue stripe on the back. So pretty. All right, and then, so another page from the kit. This was the instructions from that old bingo game. I love, they were just beautifully, again, the color on that is just beautiful. And then I made a belly band, like a double belly band, from this piece of ruler, from that Tim Holtz paper. So it's glued in the middle and then at the top and the bottom. So it holds these two journaling cards very nicely. And then that's the center signature. So again, that's scrapbook paper. And the other side of those instructions. Look at that. It even has like a polka dot. I think, you know what I think that's from? Can you see that? This was in the box, and then all the little markers were also kind of loose in the bingo box. And I think just over time with those circles laying on that, that's the way it aged. How cool is that? I love that kind of thing. So cool. And then this is another background page. And we have the last hidden paper clip here. Whoops. And these are some actual vintage, well, I mean, all of those are vintage because they don't make them anymore, but those like value stamps. So here's journaling card. And these are all printed on the back. This comes with the kit. So you get a couple, I think there are 3 background pages. So it's that one, and then you've seen the other. The third one I didn't use on the backs because it was kind of dark, but you'll see in a second where I used it. And then that flips out. Whoops. And then another page from the kit. And then we've got the letters from that ledger paper. It was like a ledger book, and then it had, in the beginning, it had lined paper with the letters. So I guess you could maybe put addresses or whatever you wanted in there. The other side of that scorecard, and then the final background page. And then this is just another page from that Tim Holtz paper pad. Again, it was a letter, and I liked how that looked, so I just folded it up and stuck it in there because it fit perfectly. And then the final tag here, I used a piece of ruler. Oh, that's the other background page, or backside. And then the third back side page is this pattern, which is gorgeous. But it was just a little dark for the back of tags, so I didn't print that. I just turned it into an envelope. And then inside, I lined it with graph paper. This is an actual piece of ephemera that I had acquired. As you can see, the postmark is 1951 here. Actually, you probably can't see. I say that, but you probably can't. And it's just a postcard. It came in a bag of canceled postage stamps that I bought. And I just thought that was so cool that the whole postcard was in there. I was super excited. But I thought it goes really well with this kit. So I am going to part with it and add it in here for whoever purchases this journal. And then this is just another piece of Tim Holtz ephemera. I roughed up the edges and inked it up really well so it looks old. And then you've got just a little tuck spot there. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed making it. It is available in my Etsy shop. And yeah, I'm gonna challenge myself more in the future to make, you know, less large journals. I really liked how this turned out. I am quite pleased with it, and I have Deb to thank for her beautiful kit, because that was such an inspiration for how this turned out. So thank you, Deb. All right, so when I filmed the flip through of this journal, it's been a little while, and since then I have gotten really close to 500 subscribers, and I'm so excited. Thank you, everyone. And who knows, by the time I upload this, because I'm not going to upload it until, you know, for a few days, maybe I will have even exceeded 500. So I am beyond just blessed that you all have subscribed to my channel. I am so just, yeah, it is so exciting that you've all decided to join me on my journey. So because of that, I have decided to have a giveaway. Obviously, because 500 subscribers, that is a huge, huge milestone. And I have decided to give this journal away to somebody. So what will happen is, you know, like I said, I'm not going to upload this video for a few days, so this might be irrelevant information, but before I do the, you know, like I will open the giveaway today, but before I draw a winner, I need to hit 500 subscribers, if that makes sense. So I think right now I'm only like 7 away. So I don't foresee that being an issue. But I just want to make sure that I've hit that 500 mark before I actually do the giveaway. But it will be, you know, the giveaway does start right now. And I will tell you the rules. 1, you need to be a subscriber. And I know that there's some confusion about how to set your privacy settings so that people can see your subscriptions. My best advice for that is to Google how to do that. And you know, it's not hard, but there are different ways to do it depending on what device you are on. So for me to give you you know, like instructional advice on that, it would just take too long. But the way I figured it out was Googling it. So I will very much check that the winner is subscribed to my channel. And if I can't see that, I'm not going to be able to, you know, to verify that. So Google that, make sure your settings are set appropriately so that I can see. That's number 1. I hate to, it sounds so strict, but for some reason, you know, YouTube has it set up that way, and it's not anything that I can control. And I just really do want to make sure that the winner is is one of my subscribers. All right, so I would love if you would give the video a thumbs up. There's no way that I can check whether you've done that. However, it is, you know, I do enjoy seeing, you know, that people like my videos. So if you would do that, that would be great. And then you will need to leave a comment, because that's how I'm going to pick the winner. And I never come up with anything clever as far as what, you know, what I want you to leave a comment about. So maybe this time, leave me a comment about, you know, just tell me your favorite part of this journal. Again, it just needs to be a comment, and, you know, and I would hope it would be a positive comment. But that's how I'm going to pick the winner. And what we'll do is, the day I upload this will be Monday, July 1st, 2019. And I will let this run for a week. So that will be July 8th, 2019. If for some reason I have not reached 500 subscribers on July 8th, I will come back and do another video letting you know that I'm not drawing yet. Does that make sense? But as long as I've hit 500 by July 8th, I will do the drawing. Let's go ahead and say at noon Eastern Standard Time on July 8th. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, yeah, good luck, guys. And thank you so, so much for all of your support and all of your love and your wonderful comments. It has just been a whirlwind journey of excitement for me since I started doing this. So I am blown away. And yeah, thank you guys. So go ahead and make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like button if you know, please. That would be nice. And leave me a comment about your favorite part of this journal or anything else positive that you would like to say. Yeah, good luck. I'll see you guys later. Bye.